I never expected a holiday dinner to dismantle my entire reality, but a single question from my grandmother turned the festive room into a crime scene. She wanted to know why a group of total strangers was currently occupying the mountain property she had purchased for me several years ago. I sat there completely frozen as the silver spoon slipped from my fingers, because I had spent the last 4 years struggling to survive while living in a cramped, moldy basement on the edge of town. My grandmother Clara stared across the table with eyes that could cut through stone, demanding answers from my parents, who had supposedly been managing the asset on my behalf. For my entire life, my father Kenneth and my mother Beatrice had convinced me that I was inherently terrible with finances and lacked the intelligence to succeed. I internalized that painful narrative, truly believing my constant financial struggles were a personal failure rather than the result of a meticulously calculated deception by my own flesh and blood. The fragile illusion shattered completely when Clara revealed that the current tenants were actually the wealthy in-laws of my golden child sister Vanessa. They were paying thousands of dollars each month in direct rent to my father, while my own bank account was literally sitting at zero. I looked at Vanessa, who was draped in designer silk that cost more than my entire yearly budget, and watched the color drain completely from her face as she looked to our mother for protection. A wave of icy clarity washed over me as I realized my family had weaponized my deepest vulnerabilities just to fund their own extravagant lifestyle. Years ago, after a devastating accident left me buried under a mountain of medical debt, they forced me to sign a legal document under the guise of protecting me. They claimed they were too impoverished to help with my hospital bills, yet they used that exact power of attorney to steal a massive inheritance right out from under me. When I calmly confronted my father about the forged signatures, my mother shrilly interjected that they were simply shielding me from the overwhelming burden of property management. They genuinely expected me to be grateful for their theft, arguing that my emotional nature and artistic career path made me unfit to handle such wealth. They needed me to remain broken, poor, and dependent, so they could continue driving luxury vehicles and maintaining their high society status without any guilt. The confrontation reached a boiling point when Clara produced her phone and signaled for a prominent estate attorney named Mr. Vance to enter the dining room. He carried a heavy leather briefcase filled with forensic handwriting analysis and bank statements that completely traced the stolen rent money. The funds had not been saved for my future as my parents claimed, but were instead squandered on country club memberships, luxury car leases, and failed digital currency investments. The ultimate betrayal came when Mr. Vance pulled a singed, hidden document from the bottom of my father's private safe deposit box. It was an official acceptance letter from a prestigious art institute offering me a full-ride scholarship 5 full years ago. My parents had intercepted the mail, burned the edges, and lied to my face about my rejection just so I would stay trapped at home acting as their personal servant. Seeing my stolen life laid out in black and white transformed my sorrow into an unshakable resolve to see justice served. My parents immediately began turning on each other like trapped animals, shouting accusations and desperately trying to shift the blame to avoid criminal prosecution. I handed my father a legal demand for over $2 million in total restitution, instructing them to liquidate every asset they owned and vacate my property immediately. Exactly 1 year later, I sat in front of the roaring fireplace inside my beautiful mountain home, watching the winter snow blanket the peaceful valley below. My parents were currently awaiting their criminal trial for grand larceny, and Vanessa had lost everything after her husband filed for a messy divorce. I was finally free from the toxic chains of their manipulation, and the quiet stillness of my new life was worth every single battle it took to get here. Instead of hoarding the recovered wealth, I used the funds to establish a foundation dedicated to supporting young artists who faced severe family trauma. I realized that my abusers tried to bury me in the dark, but they forgot that I was a seed capable of growing through the concrete. True strength does not mean avoiding the storm, but rather using the very debris thrown at you to build an unbreakable sanctuary for yourself and